And now to South Africa, where the Electoral Commission has outlined the importance of signing the Code of Conduct for the upcoming elections. The Commission also conducted a public draw of all contesting parties and independents to determine the order of the contesting parties on the ballot paper. Furthermore, the Commission also spoke about former President Jacob Zuma's exclusion from the ballots. Bongani Siziba has more in this report.
Upcoming elections are a pivotal moment for the nation's democracy. Today, political parties gathered to sign a code of conduct, marking a significant step towards the electoral process.
We give this affirmation of readiness alive to the enormity of the challenge that rests on our hands. We stand ready to assiduously ensure that we do not let motherland down, for otherwise history will have a deleterious account of our charge of this task.
As part of the preparations for the elections, a draw was conducted to determine the order of the ballot box. This draw is a crucial element in ensuring the integrity of the electoral process.
Regardless of size, representation, as well as the independent candidates participating, must adhere to the code that is prescribed. They must commit to the principle of free expression and democratic debate. They must recognize the authority of the Commission in the conduct of these elections. Beyond adherence to the code, parties, candidates, citizens must alike actively promote the awareness of this code and support efforts to educate voters. Furthermore, certain behaviors such as inciting violence, intimidation, spreading false information, or abusing positions of power are strictly prohibited and must be met with swift accountability measures.
With millions of South Africans having registered to vote, the significance of today's ceremony cannot be overstated. The participation of political parties in signing the Code of Conduct and the draw underscores the commitment and inclusive electoral process. Political parties pledge to work for the citizens if elected into power.
We are saying to South Africans right now, it's not a time to vote for the old, it's a time to vote for the new, the breath of fresh air and the new competent leaders who are merit-based, who can lead the country and take the country forward.
We are saying for 30 years they've been casting the net to this side. They have to pull out the net and cast it on the right side for us to see the democracy that was fought so hard for. We are saying the corruption that is so prevalent in South Africa is destroying the freedom that we thought we have attained. At the moment, there is unemployment. At the moment, there is all kind of societal ills that we need to change by our vote. We are saying on the 29th of May, people must vote for UDM because UDM believes in good governance.
And it is time for change that is designed on the agenda of social justice. So we are excited. We are happy for South Africa that ACC is coming in as government on the 29th of May.
As the nation prepares for the upcoming elections, the spirit of democracy and civil engagement is palpable. The stage is set for a historic, impactful electoral process that will shape the future of South Africa. In Johannesburg, for News Central, Bongani Siziba.
All right, joining me on the news to discuss this is the Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mosoto Moepia. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for joining me.
Good evening to you and your viewers. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure to have you. So can you tell us what or how ready is the IEC to conduct the upcoming elections?
We are ready. You know, an election is a mammoth task. It's not one that you plan overnight. It's work that you plan over a period of time. We have set ourselves up as early as 2022 to work through this. We've worked with Parliament on legislation to bring in independent candidates. We have worked ourselves to look at what measures needed to be taken to ensure that independent candidates who will be contesting this kind of elections for the first time are able to be accommodated, and we will accommodate them well. Legislation has regrettably passed late. There have been some tough measures going forward with views on whether the measures in place were correct or not, and so for the first time we have seen legislation come or being passed fairly late. That notwithstanding, the actual preparation for the elections is very much advanced.
All right, absolutely, Mosoto. But then some political parties are blaming the IEC for excluding them on the ballots. What criteria was used to, especially in registering party members or parties according to the law? What criteria was used?
We don't have a criteria as the Electoral Commission. We apply the law, and the law is very clear. It provides for the first time that when you contest an election and you're a party that has not been represented, in other words, you don't have elected representatives in the National Assembly or provincial legislatures, you are required to attain a certain number of supporters who will support your candidature as a party. If you are an independent candidate, you require 1,000 signatures. And these are requirements in addition to the deposit that parties normally would levy. And there are many parties that have not been able to meet those requirements. And that's what people talk about generally when they say they have not met our requirements. These are not requirements of the IEC. They are just the legislation we are required to administer for anyone wishing to participate in these elections.
Okay. Now, political parties today made pledges. Can you tell us what are the consequences if they fail to abide by these pledges?
Well, the pledges have a wide range of sanctions that can be applied if parties don't comply with the code of conduct. They start with a simple warning, a deduction of votes, a fine, small fine, or a fine up to 200,000 rands. But they can be as harsh as removing a party from an election and even cancelling the registration of an organization as a political party. So they are serious.
All right, so now just before we let you go, Mosoto, let's talk about the former president, that's Jacob Zuma. How about his removal on the ballot? How did the IEC come to that decision?
We believe that, as I've indicated, we have applied the law. The former president's party and his team are saying no. We erred in applying the law. We do not have difficulties with their position. They have filed papers in the Electoral Court, which is the authority that has the right to hear appeals on matters such as this, and that step we welcome. We have filed our own papers today, and the court will listen to this. It will help us. It's not a fight. It's for us. It's an area where we are seeking clarity and assistance. If we got it wrong, the court will tell us so. If the former president and his team got it wrong, they will the court will say so. And I believe that we would be able to move forward in unison.
All right, well, thank you so much, Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mosoto Moepia, and we do wish you all the best in the upcoming elections. Thank you so much for joining me.